I am so glad to be with you live tonight. I love doing Facebook Lives. I love taking your questions live and just chatting with you. And tonight I'm going to talk about what to do if your relationship is stuck. And your relationship's stuck, or it's just not moving, it's not progressing, and you don't really know what to do. You want to, somehow advance the relationship and make it feel good. You're curious, am I in a committed relationship with you right now? Are we just dating? Hi, Catherine. And you don't really know where you stand with the man. Or let's say you've been dating for a while and you feel like you're his girlfriend, but he hasn't really said, he says, you're with me, you're my girlfriend, but there's no commitment, there's no ring, there's no offer on the table. You can also have a situation where you are in a committed relationship. They've made it really known. The guy has let you know he's in a committed relationship with you. But at the same time, where's the ring? Where's the conversation that we need to be having? And so women, when we want to go to the man and ask him, and I'm going to share with you a phrase that you can say to the man. But before I do that, I want to get you prepared to say this to him. Yes, and no ring on it. That's what we're talking about. When you're stuck, there's no ring, there's no offer, they're on the table, as we say. So I will be sharing with you a phrase that you can all use. But first, I want to talk a little bit about the situation with the guy prior to getting this clarification about where the relationship's going. So it is absolutely your right to know where is this relationship going, because otherwise you are spending an infinite amount of time dating this man, being his girlfriend. Someone says, what does it mean when he says you're the one? It means it's words. It's beautiful words, but words. Okay, you need an offer on the table. It is your right to know if this relationship is something that is temporary or long-term. Because otherwise you're just spending endless amounts of days of your life investing in this man. You have no idea where it's going. And you know why women do this? We do it because we're scared. Chime in if you disagree with me. But we're scared to just say to the man, I have a question for you. And exactly, Minnie says, makes total sense. Catherine says, Sue, let me just ask you all this. If you could put your guy in front of you right now, go ahead and put him in front of you right now. And in your way, however you would say it, if you were to ask him, are we ever going to get married? Or I want to be married one day, or what's going on with us? Go ahead and put him in front of you for a second. And go ahead and ask him in your way. And what do you see him doing? I'm going to make a prediction, but go ahead. What do you see him doing? How do you see this man reacting when you say this to him or you ask him this question? What do men do when we ask them questions that make them feel uncomfortable, that they can't solve immediately? One person says they go quiet. And two, stuck things in the moment, staying at the date phase. Okay, men get angry. They get angry when you ask them a question that they cannot solve and they don't have an answer for it, and it puts them on the spot. The quickest way to a solution is to shut you up and get you quiet, or they go quiet, all right? So we've all experienced that with men, that men get kind of angry. They get frustrated, someone said. And so that makes us scared, because otherwise, why are you so scared to ask this man, what are you doing with me in your life? Why are you so afraid? Just think about that for a minute. We're scared of their reaction. They're going to get mad. They're going to get angry. They're going to maybe walk out of the relationship. They're going to tell us something that is finally going to open our eyes, and we're going to go, oh my gosh, this is not going anywhere, right? One person says, I've asked multiple times. What happens when you ask him multiple times? Tell us. Tell us what he says. Now, I'm going to tell you a real life story about my first husband. I'm now, of course, happily married. But my first husband, we had been dating for a very long time and living together. In fact, he just very quickly, this is back when we were both in our 20s, but he just kind of moved in with me, was a wonderful guy, very supportive. We bought a house together. The house was in his name. We shared the house together, shared finances. And I want to tell you, ladies, he was a great guy, a great provider. But he had some quirks that I found it difficult. He wasn't home very much. And back then I was in my masculine energy, but he was working very hard to provide for us. But I was in my masculine energy and I was pushing him away. And finally, at some point, I said, I had a friend of mine for dinner, and this friend said to me, he said, so when are you guys going to get married? And I said, I don't know. I don't need to be married. Marriage is something that's not important to me. Because it really wasn't. Because I was thinking like a real dum-dum. And I didn't know everything about marriage. I didn't understand. All I knew is my parents got married and got divorced, and my mom got remarried to a real jerk. And then, that's all I knew about marriage is avoid it. Avoid it, because it messes up the relationship. And my friend he said, well, what if he were to suddenly break up with you? And I was like, shut up. He's not going to break up with me. We're married in our hearts. Everything is wonderful between us. He said, okay, but if it happened, do you know what would happen to you? And by the way, this friend of mine was a homosexual. He's a gay guy. And gay couples actually don't have rights in most states. They definitely didn't in North Carolina, like a common law husband and wife. And guess what? There's no common law husband and wife in North Carolina. So I said to my friend, I said, well, I'm common law. Well, we've been together for, 7-8 years. And he goes, no, that doesn't exist. So right there's a legal reason to get married. So this happens to gay couples. They will move in together. The house is in one of their names. They'll move in together. Both of them will pay that mortgage and do all sorts of stuff to the house. And I hear about this with my clients. And then the partner who owns the house will say, you know what, I'm done with you. It's over. Or when you start sniffing around asking about marriage, you know what, you're out of here. And you walk away with nothing. So I want you all to know if you're living with your partner, if you're cohabitating with your partner, I want you to know the laws that protect you. Because you walk away with nothing. You would have to hire an attorney to prove that you have invested this much in the house, but even then you may not get it. If your partner doesn't have, it is a terrible situation to find yourself in. So that alone is a great reason to get married. Legally, some type of protection for yourself. Now, there's a lot of other reasons to get married, but that one really stuck with me because I didn't want to get screwed, you see. So when I started talking to my, at the time, first partner, and I said, so, we've been together a long time and I would like to get married, he said, I'm not so sure. And I said, what do you mean you're not so sure? We've been together this long. I take care of you. I make dinner. I do everything. He goes, I'm not so sure. We argue sometimes. And I was like, of course, all couples argue. So you hear how hard I was fighting for it, and I was in my masculine energy, you see? And finally, I told him at some point, I said, well, if we don't get engaged to get married, I'm walking. And he said, okay. He said, okay. All right. And he told me that if I didn't walk, he could call the district attorney and have me out of the house that week. That was the type of fighting words a man can say to you after you have given him 6 and 7 years of your life, you see. Because when they get challenged with a problem that they can't solve, they're like a caged animal. They're up against the wall, you see. So ladies, I've been there right with you, horrified. So here I was, I mean, I had a part-time job, I was making great money and I was contributing. It's very nasty, but it's what men do. When they get backed into a corner, it can turn nasty. So I want to prepare you all for this. It can go that way, and that's why we're scared. We're scared because things might get nasty, they might turn on us, and they might call us out and say, okay, bye then. So I'm going to keep going with my little story here if you're enjoying it. The next thing that happens is I am just a sobbing mess because this man is basically threatened to kick me out of my own home that I have helped paid for, that I have decorated, that I have put my heart and soul into. And I go to stay with my mom for about a week. And I get this feeling inside of me. How many of you have been there? That just something else is going on. And I got this feeling and I began to do my detective work. And women, we are the best detectives. Let me tell you, if they could put enough women in a room, we could solve every problem and figure out everything about everybody. Because we have our instincts. You are right. I went on a dating website and I found him. And I found him, he had just put up his profile, I think like 72 hours prior, and had every photo I had ever taken of him. And it just crushed me. And at that point, I was like, this means war. This means war. But what are you going to do? I love this man. I don't want to lose this man. Now, again, this was with my first partner. So I love this man. What am I going to do? I don't want to lose him. So I told him that I printed out his website, his dating page. I mailed it to him. And I said, I will take this as we are officially over. He started calling me and calling me and calling me. And I stayed away. I didn't talk to him. I let some time pass. I let him get a good taste of what life feels like without me in it, you see. It might have felt wonderful to him, but I was very lucky that it didn't. And he asked me back into his life, and a few weeks later, he bought me a Tiffany ring, and he asked me to marry him. Now, we stayed engaged for almost 4 years after that. You see what a dumb I was back then? So I just want y'all to know, when you get that ring, you go on to setting that date. Because I have had so many women I have coached with have a ring on their finger for years. All right? So now that you know my story and how horrible it can look, and we eventually did get married. We loved each other very, very much, and we were able to really work on a lot of aspects of our marriage together, do a lot of growing up together. He's still someone that I just very much love very much, but we cannot be together. We are divorced, but I have a new partner in my life who's very much fitted for me in a lot of positive ways that my other partner wasn't. So everything always works out. And I want you to just consider, though, that fear that you have inside of you, to ask, where do you see us going? That is what you need to ask him. This feels wonderful being with you. The past 3 months of dating have felt wonderful. Where do you see us going? And if he goes, well, you know, we're hanging out, we're having a good time. You go, uh-huh. Then step 2 is, yeah, this feels amazing, yet I don't want to be a girlfriend. I want to be a wife, you see. And he goes, a wife? Whoa, what do you want me to do? You know, ask you to marry me right now? They might say something sarcastic like that, to which you would say, oh my goodness, that would be amazing. Let him know he's not playing with you. Okay? And if he says, well, I don't know if I want to ever get married. My first marriage was so terrible, or I don't know where I'm going to be, or don't have my job figured out. Whatever his excuse is, you just go, uh-huh, and you listen, mm-hmm. And you can say, I'm not sure what to say, or you can say, I'm not sure how I feel about that. And then zip it. Let it stew with him what you're saying. But then you have to be responsible for yourself. And I really recommend everybody keep a calendar. Keep a calendar and write on it, I had the talk with my guy today. And I'm going to give it like a couple more weeks, and I'm going to use Adrienne's tools, and I'm going to really wrap his heart up for good. And then I'm going to ask one more time, about 4 weeks later, 4 to 6 weeks later, you know, this is still feeling really great and it feels wonderful. Where do you see us going? And if he gives you the same answer again, you got to walk away. You got to walk away, and you got to tell him, you're an amazing guy, and my heart just explodes with happiness when I'm around you, and it feels so wonderful to be together. Yet I want to be a wife, and I don't think we're on the same page. So I'm going to be moving on. Now, at that point, you can negotiate. I'm going to be moving on, or I want to keep my options open. And he'll go, what does that mean, keep your options open? Well, I really like spending time with you, but I want to be a wife, and you've let me know that that's something you're not interested in. So, I want to keep my options open. He'll say, what does that mean? Well, I want to start meeting other men. If it's not you, if you don't want to marry me, I want to be a wife. And that way, you can keep him in your life, but you can start meeting other men for coffee. Now, I know what you're all saying. Oh, heck no, my man is not going to let me do that. It's not up to him anymore. He doesn't want to marry you. You see? You got to go on with your life. Or just tell him we're not on the same page. And this has felt amazing, and this is the sweetest experience, but we're not on the same page. I want to be a wife. And then you got to walk away, and then he's going to blow up your phone. He's going to call you, text you, or he might lay low for a couple of weeks. Write it out. Let him do it. And then at some point, he'll come back around. He may do what my guy did, which is show up at my door on his bicycle, sweating, telling me he wants to marry me. You might get a big surprise like that. But guys, they really have to let it sink in, because a lot of them are so afraid of marriage and afraid of starting over again and getting hurt again, and actually just being responsible for another human being. That's really what marriage is to a lot of men, especially masculine men. It means I'm responsible for you. If they don't have a job, if they don't have an education, if they are paying so much money in child support and can't afford to really have a wife or or have a family with you, they will not be able to do it. They will keep you as a girlfriend. They will hang out with you, make love to you, eat your food, take you out to dinner once in a while, tell everybody you're their girlfriend, but it won't go any further because they can't provide. All right? So this is where you have to be good at picking a quality partner. Choose your partners wisely, ladies. They are the president of the relationship. Vote wisely. Choose your partner wisely, you see. When you choose that partner, you got to be ready to spend the rest of your life with him and pretty much have it, let him lead in the masculine energy. It doesn't mean that you're a doormat, but that's another video. All right, so I want to take a couple of your questions. I hope this has been really helpful. I've gotten lots of thumbs up. If you think it's been helpful, please give me thumbs up and support my work. And I just want to open it up and open up your questions here and go to live chat. Thank you, Nikita, for all the wonderful positive words you have given to me. Does anyone have any questions? I'm not getting them if you are. Maybe I need to go to super chat. Hold on. Here we go. So do any of you have questions about what to say to your man if you want to ask about commitment or anything like that? You guys are so quiet. You're normally asking me so many questions. So I'm kind of like, what do I do now? I'm looking through. Oh, Nikita said that her guy goes to conversations about the negative aspects of their relationship. Absolutely. They'll start bringing up where you're not working out. And that's when you want to definitely be able to say to him, well, wow, I guess we're not on the same page, but, you know, I want to be a wife one day. I want to keep my options open. And that means dating new people. And you start off just meeting guys for coffee. I know it's horrifying and nobody wants to do that. All right, you guys, you're not asking me any questions, so I'm going to sign off. Unless I'm getting questions and I can't see them. Hold on. Oh, hi, Cassiopeia. After the first time after me and him made love, what do you look at him and back in the aftermath? Fix a sandwich or compliment him? Well, I don't know. Assuming it was good. If it was bad, you might want to reconsider the relationship. If good sex is important to you, but if it was good, let him know how it felt. I hope you're letting him know how it felt the entire time. So how would you react after sex? Well, fall asleep. Fall asleep. Oh, you get quiet and shy. Well, yes, because you've been vulnerable with this person. And that's okay. Get quiet and shy. That's vulnerability. And that's very feminine. And ladies, with feeling statements, they don't always have to be words. Feeling statements can be sounds you make. Like and Guys love that stuff. Phyllis said, I just ended something with an amazing guy, but all he said was he couldn't be mad and he couldn't ask me. I missed the rest of that. Hold on. Couldn't be mad and he couldn't ask me to wait for him. I haven't heard from him since. I'm sad. What do I do? Well, you ended that with him because you two were not in an exclusive relationship with an offer on the table. I am assuming you were just dating, Phyllis. Correct me if I'm wrong. Were you just dating? And I'm not talking about, okay, yes, you were. So you ended things with him because he was not dating you enough. He was not coming around enough. You had questions about if the two of you were exclusive. Am I on the right track here? No commitment, exactly. So was he dating you 3-4 times a week? Or was it just kind of hit or miss? And I'm getting to my point, everybody. Hang in there with me. How often were you getting to see him, Phyllis? It was hit or miss. Exactly. So, Phyllis, you know what you did? It didn't feel good. It didn't feel good. This relationship didn't feel good. Because you were seeing him. You never knew when you were seeing him. There was zero commitment. It didn't feel good. So you were like, this doesn't feel good to me. I'm going to pass on you. Good for you. Good for you. You got to get that sort of man out of your energy so you can attract a new man. You have to pass on a lot of guys so new guys can come in. It's just like when you clean out your closet. You clean out your closet and you attract new clothes into your life, new things into your life. It's amazing how that works. So if you get out a bunch of men that are not serving you, there's not commitment, you're not feeling good about yourself with them, you're like, are they going to call me? And you're checking your phone. Get them out of your life, and your energy will begin to change immediately. The universe will respond to that, and the universe will get a clear message on what it is you really do want. Because if you stay in a relationship where you're just accepting crumbs, we talk about that, just these little crumbs, these little, once in a while they send you an emoji or what are you up to, and then you answer and you don't hear anything from them. That's crumbs and it feels terrible. Don't do it because the universe doesn't know the difference. If you are happy eating crumbs and feeling terrible, the universe is going to send you more of it. So bravo, Phyllis. I know it hurts though. It sounds like you really liked him, but give it some time. You're going to attract new quality men into your life. Amelia says, how do I thank a guy who came to see me play at a concert? I felt, say to him how it felt to you. How it felt to see him in the concert, know he was in the concert, attend your concert, how it felt in your body. And congratulations on being a musician or a singer or whatever you want. Miss Molly, we just went out and separated our ways on Wednesday. Oh, honey, I'm so sorry. I didn't know if you had any more to your question, but I'm so sorry that you're experiencing heartbreak. For those of you who are listening to this live stream, I have a program called the ABCs to get him back. It really needs to be titled the ABCs to get him because it also helps you just get a man, just get that man you want and keep him. But it also teaches you how to get a man back. But everything that it teaches you in that program is something that you will use for the rest of your life. Even if you are married, you will be using the tools I teach you in that program. And same goes with Dating Unzipped. Helena Hart and I have a complete collection called Dating Unzipped. It's 2 different classes and a VIP library. Everything in that you will use, from if you're just dating, if you're just figuring out what you and your partner are doing, if you're married, if you're separated, all of it, you'll be able to find a way to apply it to your relationship. It's just that we can't title things what every woman needs to know. I don't know if somebody comes up with some good titles, let me and Helena know. We'd like to hear that. Please leave that in the comments section. Let me go back to my chat and get caught up. Phyllis, you're very welcome. Shailene says, what if a man wants to act like your man but won't commit? I have 2 little boys and constantly trying to play the father role without commitment. It gets confusing. This is the confusing and wonderful thing about men, is that they will be in your life. They will be in your life. They will take your kids to games. They will come in, they will fix your car. They will help you take care of your sick grandma. They will patch a hole in her roof. They'll eat your food. They'll make love to you. They'll take you on vacation, and you're not committed. You see? They'll do all of that, and they mean it in the moment. But that's where you have to say, if you're going to be doing all this stuff with me, where do you see us going? Don't rush it, but don't delay it. It's whenever it feels right for you to know, where do you see this going? And I really recommend that everyone just keep dating men, meeting men for coffee and things like that until you have an offer on the table. Okay, Shaylin? Cassiopeia, if you have a masculine body type but a feminine soul or mind, how do you get your mind in sync with your body to attract high quality masculine men if your body is rigid and inflexible? Please go enroll in some dance classes, like a pole dancing class, any sort of class that's going to get you moving your body and feeling really sexy. I take Zumba, and the girls that I go to Zumba with, they sexy up those moves, and I have learned so many ways to dirty dance in that class, and we make our teacher laugh. So take some dance classes, a pole dancing class. I would love it if you took some acting lessons, method acting, not just like somebody teaching you how to act. Find a teacher who teaches method, because that helps you get in touch with what's going on inside your body. There is nothing more difficult on this planet to learn than method acting. I'll tell you, if you can learn that, your life will open up when you learn method. And she says, do you have a class on feminine body language for masculine women? Well, one of the best things you can do is just slow down. Just move slowly. as slow as you can, and try to make eye contact with men. Widen the area between your hips, relax the vagina. These are all good things you can do. Breathe into your body. Nebulous says, I took some advice that I got from you and Helene on leaning back to my feminine body. It made such a difference in the way I have conversations with my guys. He's opening up again. Thank you. Well, you're so welcome. And one of the cool things about this, and I do it all the time with my husband, when I can tell my husband's grumpy or he's tense, I'll just go ahead and go into dancer's pose. Just immediately, just imagining, you know, the vagina, the birth canal widening. And just lower your shoulders and just lean back. And he'll immediately change. They don't feel threatened by our masculine energy. And they'll relax and they'll go into masculine energy mode. Well, thank you so much for that feedback. Thank you. I'm glad the class is helping you. Let me go back here. Bella says, Adrienne, I'm 47. Boyfriend of 21 months doesn't want to get married but wants me to be his permanent girlfriend and said he'll take care of me until death. He has been divorced twice. Leave ? Well, how about a little ceremony? How about a public ceremony and a legal agreement that the attorneys can create so that, for example, if one of you gets into a coma, you know, who has the authority to pull the plug? I know this is really dark thinking, but this is the type of stuff you want to think about. Where you're going to be buried. Are you going to be buried together? Are you going to get cremated? If you pass on before him, your house will go to him, not your children. So a lot of my reasons for being pro-marriage are legal because you take care of yourself this way. So think about a little public ceremony where you invite your friends over. There is a ring involved. There is a person who does the ceremony. All right? You might even have it in your backyard or someplace fun like a park. But it has to happen. There has to be a ring. And there has to be some sort of little ceremony to publicly come out. And I would definitely watch out for yourself legally, ladies. I hope I'm not pushing that one too hard on you. But it's so important. So important to legally take care of yourself. Women are so trusting. And we get screwed if you haven't noticed. If you haven't been screwed yet, you will be if you don't look out for yourself. Oh, Shaylin, thank you for purchasing my book. Thank you so much. My book is 500 Ways to Talk to a Man. It's full of text and how to get into your feminine energy, how to get into your body and things like this. Okay. You're very welcome, Cassiopeia. Much love to you. Bella says her guy says he loves her dearly and I love him, but it's true if a man won't marry us, it means we're not the one for him. I don't think that's necessarily true. I think guys are really scared. They're really scared, especially after they've been hurt. They take marriage actually very seriously, despite what anybody says when they're going through a divorce. They take that commitment and taking care of that person very seriously. And you just got to warm his heart up about it. You got to warm his heart up and let him know that it feels so good with him. And he's just you've been hurt so many times before. And it feels so good to finally have a man you can trust. And just snuggle into him and really try to tie his heart up, okay? And then maybe start talking about some other options, like a little ceremony. But if you want to be married, you want to be married. And you might have to walk away. But don't be hasty. Try some more of my methods and really warm up to him. Sunshine says, how do you lean back in your feminine energy without your man feeling you're ignoring him? Because you're there. So a lot of people write me sometimes and they say, I've been in my feminine energy for all the dates. So does that mean I don't ask the guy anything? Does that mean I don't talk? No, that's not what it means. So feminine energy means you're not driving the car. All right? You're not driving the car. You're a passenger. And you're not telling him where to go and where to turn and what to do. You're engaging with him, but from a place of vulnerability and being in your body. Okay, so if you're on a date with a man, there's actually several websites that has every date question you can possibly get asked in a first or second date. You know, like, where'd you grow up? What do you do for a living? You have any brothers and sisters? You know all the questions, okay? And I want you to practice answering those in your feminine energy. So before you practice, I want you to go into that dancer's pose where you raise your shoulders up and you drop them down. You breathe into your hips. You breathe and drop down into your body. You slow down. Give your butt that little wiggle so you can loosen up your spine. And then I want you to answer those questions and answer them with what it feels like inside your body. So here's a good one. What do you do for a living? You might have the most boring job in the world, but I want you to speak about it from a place of passion, from where it feels good inside of you, okay? How many brothers and sisters do you have? 2. Are you the youngest? Yeah. You know, the questions like this, well, growing up felt so fun in my house because I was the baby, you see, and I kind of got everything I wanted. You see how now you're in my body? Now you're with me in my story? Okay, I hope that helps you. And I got one more question, then I gotta go. How long have you been studying this subject in coaching? Are you questioning my qualifications? I've been doing this for, I think, going on 6 years. Actually turned down a job I was offered at one point to work for Tony Robbins' company, because I wanted to go into nothing but relationship coaching. And I had been working with Helena, and through Helena, I met Roy Ray, who's an amazing lady. And I also studied psychology in college. I studied gender issues. And so this has always been in me to really figure it out. When I was going through that very difficult time with my first husband, we actually saw, I think, anywhere from 9 to 12 marriage therapists or relationship therapists. I read every book I could get my hands on. Harville Hendricks. I mean, oh my gosh, I could just go on and on. John Gray. All of these authors I have read. And so I just started to get all this knowledge in my head, and none of it was helping me. Not a bit of it. And then when I learned more about masculine and feminine energy, I really love Joanne Woodward. I love her work. When I learned more about that, I said, okay, now I'm on to something. This feels right to me, because I was just in my masculine energy. I was so large and in charge, and you're pushing the man away by being in your masculine energy. You're challenging him as if you're 2 rams on the hilltop, you see? So there's only one president of the United States. You're going to be the VP, the VP, and also the VIP. But there's only one president, and so choose him wisely. All right, ladies? Oh my goodness, you guys have been fabulous. Please give this video a thumbs up and comment below if you have any questions in the other comment section. If you don't already know, I have so many fun classes that you can download onto your computer and take. Several of those classes come with what is called a VIP library. And if you know me and you know Helena Hart, we have a class. It's actually 2 different classes. One was a 3-day class, one was a 4-day class. You will learn so much in these classes. And it's $99. I know that's a lot of money for a lot of you, and I don't blame you for being careful. I spent so much money on programs that didn't teach me anything. The difference about this is it comes with a library full of these little ebooks. I'm going to tell you about one of the ebooks. It's been a hot topic. It's called Sex, Sex, Sex. And it talks about when to have sex with a guy. I'm not dictating when you should have sex with him. In fact, I say you should have sex as soon as you want to have sex. Not the first date, if you can, just because it's so taboo. But, you know, you got to kind of try a guy out. One of the worst things you can do is say, I don't have sex until I'm in a committed relationship, and then get in a committed relationship and the guy is terrible in bed. I don't want that to happen to you. But also, you got to figure out, what happens when he wants to have sex the second time around. And you want to be committed. You don't really want to have sex with someone you're not committed to or not sexually exclusive with. So you see, that's just one book I'm telling you about that's in this VIP library. Helena has one of the best books I've ever read. It is this short little book she wrote on personas, about these identities we have. And she has a video on her channel that she and I did recently, I would say this past year, about personas. And one of them is kind of this investigative persona. Anyway, I can't name them all, but it's the most amazing, coolest book I've read, because I can't believe that I had some of these personas and they were running the show in my relationship. So anyway, you get that with that Dating Unzipped class. That's $99. I have the ABCs to get them back. That has a VIP library. And then of course I have my best-selling ebook, 500 Ways, and it comes with that 2-day class on how to talk to a man. And I teach you body postures and things like that. Anyway, a lot of cool stuff at my website. You go to everheartcoaching.com and you can read all about them there. I'm going to be teaching FEM in 2019. I've got 2 classes I'm going to be teaching. The best thing you can do is just sign up at my website for my newsletter, and you'll get a couple of little newsletters from me, but then after that you'll be on my newsletter list, and when I teach them you'll know about it. All right, everybody, you've been so amazing. I saw 2 questions pop up and I'll just try to get to them really quick. Thank you very much for saying this is good info. Thank you very much. And thank you for enjoying my channel. One person said, when I'm being funny, is that being masculine? I recently read that all my humor is a mask and trying to distract or cover my feelings, but I do love making men laugh. I am so glad you asked this question. Oh my goodness. So when I would get around a guy, I can be very witty and make very quick jokes and things like this, and I would have guys laughing. But you don't want to be the one telling the joke. You want the guy to be the one telling the joke. You want him to be entertaining you. This is his audition for you. And so often we're like witty and snarky and sarcastic and all these things, but really it's not connecting him to your heart. You're turning into a friend. You're turning into a good friend by doing that. So I want you to just kind of, if it's an obvious joke, go for it. But really let him be the joke teller. All right. I can't answer any more questions. I got to get ready for bed. But sending you all much love. Mwah. Thank you for tuning in. And maybe ask your questions in the comment section below, and I'll get to them tomorrow. I hope this class has helped you all. Bye. Thanks for tuning in.